Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of This Week in Call of Duty. Today we're talking about Call of Duty from the week of the 26th of March. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening this week, but typically not a lot of actual news to come out of it, just a couple of big things that did end up happening. The first thing that we want to talk about here today is WMD released for Cold War finally. This happened a little later, like this happened about last week, but I did end up missing it, so we did want to cover it in this video. WMD, if you didn't know, is a remastered map from Black Ops, and I believe it was in Black Ops 4 as well, and it is a fantastic addition to Cold War. As we have seen, they are reintroducing a couple of pieces of content here and there for Cold War in the Year 2 updates. I think this is a fantastic thing for the game. I imagine Activision and of course the companies who make these games aren't particularly happy with Vanguard's performance at the moment, so they're trying to push out a little bit of content in some of these older games like your Cold Wars and maybe even potentially some Modern Warfare content. I know we saw that a little while ago, that there was a new map added to that game. But again, this is interesting because we do want to potentially see more content coming to Cold War, hopefully very, very soon. There's potential for more new maps that they did remaster. I believe we've seen rumors recently of Jungle getting added to that game as well. I'm sure we're going to see some new maps, some old maps, some remastered stuff. Maybe even Firing Range finally does make its way to Cold War. I think that'd be a really cool addition to that game. Of course, we did get the Vargo 52 last week as well, and that is a perfect complement for WMD. Perfect time to run around in that game, get those double XP tokens going, and level up the Vargo 52 because it's a very, very cool addition to that game. It's one of the better assault rifles in that game as well. If you do want something new to play around with in Cold War, go check out that. Go play on WMD. I believe there's still a 24/7 playlist going on of WMD, and it's definitely a lot of fun. If you do want to go check out some Cold War content, we did have a WMD video release earlier this week, and the link will be on the screen right now in the top right hand corner in the card section. Moving on to some content that did happen a little bit more recently here, we did get the Season 2 Reloaded update, which is very, very sweet. As you can see in the background, we are showing off a little bit of that arms race gameplay, which was a brand new game mode added to, of course, the Vanguard Season 2 Reloaded update. This has been long rumored for a little bit of while now, and it actually kind of plays like a little bit of a battle royale sort of cross with the way basically Battlefield plays as well. There is 7 bases total, and I believe 5 of them are active at any one time, so you do get a little bit of replayability with this sort of base style of combat. And essentially, if you've played Battlefield before, you sort of know the gameplay loop that you're going for here, except when you do get kills, you do get a little bit of cash here as well, and you can spend that on like weapons, guns, and all these other things. Get your custom class setups if you prefer. You can get a tank, you can get a car, you can actually spawn a motorbike just from thin air, which is actually fantastic. I like that as a very, very cool addition to be able to move around this relatively large map very, very quickly. You just press H on the keyboard, and I'm not sure what the button is on controller, but you can just call a motorbike down. It's probably on like the D-pad or something like that. You call down the motorbike and you just ride around everywhere. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's a really cool addition to this game. I really do think this is a very, very cool game mode that they have added. With the failure of Battlefield 2042, there is a little bit of a gap for that style of gameplay, like your sort of base control, capture point, that kind of gameplay loop that we do love from Battlefield. That's essentially in this game as well, with a little bit of like a cash system over the top so you can buy your guns and class setups and stuff like that, which is a little bit of an interesting addition. I'm not sure the cash system is going to be for everyone, but it does play fairly similar to how we have seen in that Champions Hill game mode from the beta, and I mean, it's still in the game, so you can go check that out if you do like that kind of thing. The interesting thing about this is I can also see them adding more support for this later on as well. We did see this in Treyarch when we did get Cold War. There was this, it's like bigger, larger game mode. I can never remember what that game mode was called. Combined Arms? No, that was the map. It was like bigger than that. It was, you know what I'm talking about, like the sort of this style of game mode. I can see them adding more support to this. I mean, we're probably going to get a couple more maps for this. I can't imagine this being a massive sort of overarching feature for most of the updates from here on out. I mean, we'll probably get a couple of different maps, like the larger ones from here on out. I think that'd be a pretty cool addition to this game as well. Obviously, this map in Alps is not as big as the stuff we did see in that game mode from Cold War, but at the same time, it is a very, very large map from Vanguard, which is a really cool addition to the game. I do like this stuff. If you do want to see maybe like a map guide in this particular thing, I think it's a little bit big to cover all of the spots, and it's pretty simple for the most part. It's just a big open plain snowy field, so we don't actually have to make a map guide on that. But if you do want to see something similar to that, we might cover something quickly, so you let me know in the comments below. Moving on to a little bit more content that we did get from Season 2 Reloaded. Of course, we did get a new gun added to the game. We did get a brand new SMG, that being of course the Armaguerra 43. Now this, I believe, is a very, very cool addition to the game. Typically we don't see weapons that have a super high fire rate and also have them be very powerful in this game, and this is a very, very fast firing SMG, and you can push its fire rate out to something like 1330 30 rounds per minute or something like that, which is absolutely wild. If you do love weapons that you can compete up close with, this is definitely going to be a gun for you. The Armaguerra 43 does seem to be an awful lot of fun in this game, and it is actually very, very effective up close. You can kill people in Vanguard at like 150 milliseconds or something like that, which is very, very competitive for an SMG in Vanguard. Normally the Mark II sort of achieve a decent sort of level of KTK value in this game is about 180 milliseconds, so for it to fit within that at about 150 is very, very competitive. I do think this is a great addition to the game. One of the downsides with this weapon is that it does have a relatively short magazine if you do choose to play that way. There is one magazine attachment that we did mention that does increase your fire rate out to what we did mention previously of about 1330 rounds per minute. It also gives you a 4-shot kill, increases your damage a little bit as well, but it does only have 25 rounds in the mag, so it is a little bit of a different play style. You can essentially only get 1 or 2 kills with this thing before you do have to reload. You just throw in sleight of hand and you reload in about 1.8 seconds, which is actually very, very cool. This is a little bit of a different play style to how we have seen SMGs that we are used to in Vanguard at the moment with like your M1928s with your 100-round drums. So again, this is a little bit different. I do think this is a very, very cool addition to the game though. I love the Armaguerra 43. If you do want to see a class setup on this thing, again, we did make a video on this earlier this week, and go check that out in the top right if you've not already done so. Also, there is a kind of little bit of a goofy thing going on with the Armaguerra 43 at the moment. If you do throw in a suppressor on or a silencer on this thing, it actually sort of silences the gun sounds completely, which is really, really funny. Now, Sledgehammer does actually know about this and they are working on fixing it. I think it's actually just a little bit funny. This is a pretty interesting bug to come up. I mean, throw in a silencer and it silences the gun sounds for real. That's pretty funny here. So we do have our class setup of the week here, and we did actually feature this in a video as well. This is a combat shotgun class setup. Now, I know probably some of you are looking at this and going, why are you featuring a shotgun class? If you haven't seen that video already, I do recommend you go check it out. But this thing has a slug in it, and with the right attachments, including the slug, including the different magazine attachment, and then including the barrel attachment as well, this thing actually gets like an unlimited one-shot kill range, deal 196 damage per shell, and it can be accurate. As long as you hit a torso shot, you're getting a one-shot kill at any distance in this game, which is absolutely ridiculous and one of the most fun class setups that I've come up with this year. I think this is a real banger. If you like shotguns, but you like sniping as well, you like a bit of quick scoping, this is probably going to be for you here. So starting us off with our attachments here, we do actually have the M97 full choke. I'm not sure this actually makes too much of a difference as we are using a slug here, but typically this does tighten up your pellet spread, so keep that in mind here. In the barrel, a key option for this is this sawed-off barrel. This does give us a wider pellet spread, but again, slug, so it doesn't matter. Movement speed, as well as a damage increase of 40%. When you did combine the sawed-off barrel, as well as the 12-gauge 5-round tube, and again, the slug round, this does take our damage number to that 196 that we did mention previously, which again, allows us to get a one-shot kill to the torso at most distances on most maps, which is absolutely ridiculous here. Speaking of, the 12-gauge 5-round tube does give us a little bit of extra bullet velocity and that range, bullet penetration and damage range, but also apparently increases our damage by 40% as well, which is a weird little combination that doesn't actually mention. And then again, we do combine this with the slug as well. Just that single slug with that high stopping power. Again, this does increase your damage as well. Gives us that 196 damage. You get those one-shot kills to the torso, and it's so much fun, this class. Try it out if you've not already done so. I swear, you will not regret this. G16 2.5 times because we do want a bit of a medium to long range optic here, but if you do like something a little bit different, this is up to you. We do in the stock slot have the GCG 3-meter adjustable for the hip fire accuracy, the aim walking movement speed, the aim down sight speed, and the sprint to fire speed here. A lot of good stats here with this particular shotgun class setup. In the underbarrel, we go with the SMLE pistol grip here. I think this is a nice one for sprint to fire speed, which is really, really nice for this shotgun class. And then in the rear grip, we do have the fabric grip here for the aim down sight speed and the sprint to fire speed, which you will want to be aiming down sight a lot with this thing, so keep this in mind. Then we do have in the proficiency, we've got the sleight of hand perk just to increase our reload speed as well, because this is a tube shotgun. You do have to put in each individual slug, so it can take a little bit of time, and this helps reduce that as well. And in the kit slot, we do have quick here just to increase our sprint speed. As I was saying, if you've not tried this class setup out, again, we did make a video on it, so if you don't believe me, go check out that video first and then put this class setup together, because it is so much fun here. Super underrated, definitely one of the most interesting class setups that we've made this year. And that is going to do us here for this week's episode of This Week in Call of Duty, guys. If you do think I did miss something, or there was a pretty significant piece of news that I did miss, make sure you do let me know in the comments, and we might end up covering it in next week's video, because, I mean, there's a lot of content to cover this week. There wasn't heaps of different things, but there was a lot of big stuff, like your mid-season 2 update, which is fairly significant. Again, WMD getting added to the game as well in Cold War, which I thought was very cool. Long time coming for that after the delay. So again, if you do want to see more content like this, you want to stay up to date with all of the things that are going on in Call of Duty around around the various games. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. We are going to try and do it this week in Call of Duty every week until we have something else to do. And again, thank you very much for watching this one. Hopefully you did enjoy this, as I said, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!